Hello, welcome to Indian Techies. Today we are going to discuss about two-dimensional array. We have already seen one-dimensional array and some programs on one-dimensional array. Now let us see what do you mean by two-dimensional array. Now why we are going for two-dimensional array concept? Whenever you want to represent any data in the form of tables, that is rows and columns, then we will be going for data, that is two-dimensional array. For example, if you want to represent any data in the form of matrix, you have to use two-dimensional array, that is rows, columns related data. It is also a collection of similar data elements, but that group of data has been categorized into rows and columns. Now, how you will be declaring? The syntax of two-dimensional array is, the first is data type, next the name of the variable, then we will be considering two sets of brackets which mentions the two sizes. So previously we have written only one size, now we have to write two sizes. Generally, we consider the first size as number of rows, the second size as number of columns. If you want, you can change this order also. First one column, second one rows. But defaultly, we will consider as first one as number of rows and second one as number of columns. For example, int array name is A. The size, that is number of rows, is 3 and number of columns is 4. This is how you are going to declare. Means we are declaring the row size as 3 and we are declaring the column size as 4. That is, how many variables will be created, how many number of integers will be created. Generally we think that 3 plus 4 7. No, that is wrong. Because 3 rows and 4 columns you have to multiply, that is 3 into 4. 3 4s are 12. So total 12 integer variables will be created. For each integer, if it occupies 2 bytes of memory, 3 4s are 12 2s are 24 bytes of memory will be allocated. Since I am saying we are accessing in the form of rows and columns or tables, the memory is not allocated in the form of rows and columns. The memory is allocated in a sequence only. For example, for your better clarity, let me explain in detail. So, I am writing a tabular or a row and column representation. How many rows? I said 3 rows. But array allocates its positions from 0. Now, it will be allocating as 0th row, first row and second row. Total 3 rows, but it starts from 0. Now, in the same way, how many columns? 4. So, again it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. Total 4, but it starts from 0, total 4. Now, how many values? These are all the intersection of row and column can be called as one single value. So, like this, 12 integer variables memory will be allocated. Now, if you want to access this first variable, it is a combination of 0th row and 0th column. So this is at 0 0 position. Then if you want this one, this is at the 0th row and first column. This is at the 0th row and second column, 0th row and third column. In the same way, this is first row, 0th column, first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column. This is second row, 0th column, second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column. This is how you are going to access. The intersection of row and column can be considered as one single integer value. For this, how you are going to see? That is the first variable, that is you consider it as A of 0 0. So this total array name is A. Now this is the first variable. This first variable, how to access? It is in the 0th row and 0th column. So this is the name of the first variable. See, 0 zeros are not the values that you are going to store. Whenever you want to store a value, that value has to be accessed with some name. That name is a of 0, 0. The name of the second variable is a of 0, 1. This one. Next one is a of 0, 2. This one. Next one is a of 0, 3. This one. When one total row is completed, then we will go to the next row and we will access. That is a of 1, 0. This one. A of 1, 1. Next one is we have 1, 2, 1, 3. Next 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So like this row wise we are going to access. This is how you are going to access. These are the names of the variables. For these variables, how the memory is allocated. Now, let's see the memory allocation. 3 4s are 12 integer variables. So it will not be allocated in the form of rows and columns. We are accessing in the form of rows and columns. In memory, the allocation is done sequentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, the first position is called as 0, 0. Next one is 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. So, as per this one row has been completed, then this will be called as, next one will be called as 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4 not there. So, 1, 3. Next one is 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. This is how the memory will be allocated in sequence. As I already told you that array allocates contiguous memory locations only. So 12 2s are 24 bytes of memory. If it is available sequentially, then only the memory allocated. Otherwise, memory will not be allocated. This is how you declare a two-dimensional array. For this declaration, if you want to give input, again you are having two types of input. The first type of input is static input. The second type of input is dynamic input. So, what do you mean by static input? The first one. A static input is given at the time of writing the program only. Means you are assigning the values to a two-dimensional array at the time of writing the program only. Means before the execution of the program only, the values has been fixed. Later, due to the logic, you may change the values, but initialization is done before the execution of the program. That is, at the time of writing program only, you will give the input. That is called as a static input. The next one is dynamic input. So, what do you mean by dynamic input? Whenever you are executing the program, once you run the program, if you ask the input from the user and based upon that input, if you perform some operation, then that is called as a dynamic input. Now, we will see how to perform a static input and how to perform a dynamic input. Static input. Now, whenever I declare like this, int a of 3 or 4, then static input is of two ways. One is giving one by one value. Second one is giving all the values at a time. So, let us see giving one by one value. That is, what is the first variable name? As we said, a of 0, 0. In this, if I assign 10, so 10 value will be stored in the first integer in this two-dimensional array. Next one is a of 0, 1 is equal to some value. A of 0, 2 is equal to some value. A of 0, 3 is equal to some value. A of, next one is one row completed. Next one is 1, 0. That is a value. Like this, if you give one by one, this is individual input in static. Now, if you want to give all the values in a single statement, then how you are going to do? At the time of declaration only, that is int a of 3, 4, directly open this braces, flower braces, then directly assign all the, how many variables are there? 3, 4, 12. So assign all the 12 values, 12 integer values. You can assign any values, any random values. 90, 100, 110, 120, close braces and semicolon. Now whenever you give like this directly instead of like this one by one, automatically first one will be considered as A of 0, 0, second one will be considered as 0, 1, this will be considered as 0, 2, this will be considered as 0, 3. Once one row is completed, automatically it will identify internally. The next one is considered as 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Again one row is completed, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. This is how internally it will be considering. Now here 3 4s are 12, so I have given 12 values. Suppose you have given only first 6 values. You have not given these all remaining values. So first 6 values, since I have given in the same order, it will be allocated. Remaining all the values, memory will be allocated. Since you did not give the input, it will be defaultly allocated with garbage values. I have already told what do you mean by a garbage value. A value which is not predictable, some waste value, some random number which is not useful for your calculation is called as a garbage value. It will be remaining values which you did not assign. Those will be initialized with some garbage value. This is how you perform static initialization of a two-dimensional array. Now, let us see dynamic input, dynamic initialization of an array. As I already told you that in one-dimensional array, it is better to use for loop. But here also we have to use for loop only for giving a input at the time of program execution. But here the repetition is not only once. You have to repeat row wise and at the same time you have to repeat column wise. That's why you have to use 2 for loops. But these 2 for loops are not independent. These are not separate for loops. We are going to use nested for loop. Now here is a new concept called as a nested for loop. What do you mean by nested for loop? A loop inside another loop can be called as a nested for loop. We can implement this nested loops concept with any of the loop. Inside while you can write for, inside for you can write while or do while. Right? Inside while you can write while, inside do while you can write do while. In the same way here we are going to write inside for another for you are going to write. That is called as a nested for loop. Now here let us see how to use. Always the outside for loop is used to repeat the rows. The inside for loop is used to repeat the columns. For our example. Now since it is 3 rows, always internally row starts from 0. We have to see internally only. I equal to 0. Next, total 3. So it will be ending with 0, 1 and 2. It will be ending with 2. So I am writing I less than 3. You can write I less than or equal to 2 or you can write I less than 3. I plus plus for every row now. So increment by 1. So this for loop will be used to repeat rows. 9. For every row you are having multiple number of columns. So inside that again I am writing another row. Since you have already used I here, don't use same I here. Because this is storing row repetition. Use some other character. So I am using J. J is equal to 0. Because how many number of columns are there? 4 number of columns are there. But initially it will start with 0. So J equal to 0. J less than 4. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. Total 4. J plus plus. Inside this for loop, now you take input. Because if you want to take any input for one value, a variable of two-dimensional array is a combination of row number and column number. Right? Now scanf percentile D ampersand A of I and J. Close this for, close this for. Now how this is going to be executed? When I is equal to 0, 0 less than 3, so it goes inside. Again J is equal to 0, 0 less than 4, yes it is going inside, and A of ij, that is it will take input for A of 0, 0. When I is equal to 0, j becomes 0, 1, 2, 3. That is 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Like that it will be taking 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Once it is completed, again I increments by 1. Now I value is 1. When I is equal to 1, again this j becomes 0, 1, 2, 3. Once this is completed, again I plus plus, I becomes 2. When I is equal to 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So again I plus plus, 3 less than 3. No. So this for loop comes out. So by using this for loop, it can take input for two-dimensional array. At the same time, if you want to print any two-dimensional array, instead of scanf, you just place a printf. So every time you access a two-dimensional array, compulsorily you have to write for inside for taking input or for calculation purpose or for printing purpose. This is compulsorily. So if instead of using for inside for, you can use while inside while, do while inside do while, or while inside do while inside while inside for inside while. You can use any of the combination of the loops. But when you use for inside for, the problem and complexity in the remaining will be more. This will be less. That's why we will be using for inside for. This is how you perform dynamic input for a two-dimensional array, right? So this is how we will be declaring, initializing and accessing a two-dimensional array. We will see the important programs in our next upcoming class, right? Hope you understood the introduction of two-dimensional array in C programming. Thank you for watching Indian Techies C programming language videos. Please like, comment, subscribe and share our videos. Thank you.